The hostility is a little bit more clear-cut in terms of defining the quality of an unhealthy person. But I realized there was one aspect that I didn't add in with control because of running out of time on that video. So one extra thing on control is that it can be associated with feelings and anxiety, insecurity and anger. So control, when it's healthy, it's something where you have control of your life. As in, you have a job and you work hard, you come home and you handle your house as much as you can, you have friends, you have exercise and coping strategies to deal with stress. You have control over you, you know who you are, you feel comfortable with who you are, you accept yourself, as in you have a clear sense of identity. People who feel, so it's basically control over you, and you can laugh at yourself, you can have fun with yourself, it's something where you feel secure. Controlling, when you're trying to control other people and get them to do what you want them to do, the underlying or the foundation within the person's spirit and in their identity is anxiety, insecurity and anger. And it becomes overwhelming for the person, and they don't know how to fix whatever they feel insecure about or anxious about, and so in an attempt to regain control, they control other people because it soothes the mood. But the problem is, the reason why it's consistent is because every day, depending on the situation, they feel anxious and they're needing to soothe that mood constantly. So there is a difference between soothing your mood and feeling like you need to go for an exercise or feeling like you need to hang out with your friends. Meaning, if you don't get to exercise, it's okay. If you don't manage to hang out with your friends because you are having to work or because of COVID, it's okay. Soothing the mood becomes a thing where if you cannot do it, you become irritable and edgy and mean to other people. Because I was pondering on this for a long time, because I was thinking, what is the difference between feeling sad and taking a moment to like really say, this is why I feel sad, and crying over it or dear diarying or going for a run because you feel sad, because it's okay that you do feel sad. And then people who would go and shop, even if they don't have the money to do that, like that money would need to go to savings or that money would need to go to rent, and they would go and they would shop despite knowing that they haven't paid rent yet, to soothe the mood, because they want to feel better in that moment. And that gratification lasts for maybe half an hour to an hour, and then they realize, and then it goes back to that feeling of guilt, where they're like, I should have spent that money on expenses rather than on buying something. And so it's strange, because I'd never really thought of soothing the mood before. And then I had a look at two of my friends who have gotten me to, because of my relationship with them, my friendship with them, it's made me research these things, and it's made me look into what soothing a mood looks like. I'm like, okay, so what's the difference between me knowing that I need to go and buy a pair of jeans and going out and quickly going to get the pair of jeans and soothing a mood? And so I realized that the person feels like they have no choice but to soothe the mood because it's a habitual thing. Realizing that you can choose to say, no, let me rather go for a run, or no, let me rather do aerobics or whatever, rather than binge spending, or rather than soothing a mood in a way that could hurt you. Or something, it can be something like, there's nothing wrong with going shopping, right? So it's like, pay rent first, or pay your electricity bill first, and then go and buy yourself that jacket if you have money for it. So if they cannot soothe that mood, if they cannot regain that feeling of control, the controlling person will essentially try to control other people and get angry if they don't get their way. They don't necessarily feel great about about their need for control over people anyway, unless they like to have power over people. But there is that level of influence, there is that level of, this person does exactly what I want them to do, I have power over them, and that does soothe the mood temporarily. They feel the need to control themselves, others, and situations. So to a large degree, it is nice at work to do your job well and to not get complaints. That is healthy control. If I get complaints at work and I have to think problem solve to fix the situation, that is still control, but in a healthy way, because it's about my job. But if you're trying to control your boss so that you can get what you need, and your boss says no and you get angry, that is unhealthy control. Hostility is unfriendliness, opposition to all outsiders. Another word for hostility is antagonism. So what I did was, when I first started looking into antagonism, I realized it's basically any bad guy in a movie is an antagonist. He'll do things to intimidate, to hurt, with the intention to hurt other people. The underlying emotions behind antagonism, because antagonism would be the behavior that you see, but what you would find under the person, like the foundation of the person, is bitterness, spite, conflict. I say conflict creation, like they look for ways to create drama for entertainment. Another thing that I'm wanting to talk about with hostility is being competitive. So the problem is that competitive is like control and moodiness. It's not always negative. Competitiveness can be a positive thing. It can be something that drives somebody to do well. For example, if you're studying to be a psychiatrist, but you're needing to go in for masters, all those people who got in for that year are competing against each other, and so it is literally like may the best person win. But when you become competitive to the point where you verbally abuse people, or you use people to stand on their toes to get to where you want to go, it can be a negative thing. So being competitive seems to be, because in doing research, being competitive seems to be a quality of hostility. But I think the feeling that you would have, or the quality that you would see that would make you question it, is below that, the foundation of it, which is bitterness, spite, unkindness. So what it is I don't want to win, but I don't want other people to win either. I don't want this, but nobody else can have this, so I need to hurt them in order to stop them from getting this. And that's where competitiveness becomes an issue.